Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I start this presentation, let me introduce myself. My name is Nabila Nasywa Alifah, and I will presenting about the impact of tax avoidance. For the abstract, tax avoidance is increasingly prevalent among corporations, raising concerns about its impact on financial accounting practice. Tax is mandatory contribution from individuals or entities to the state, which is mandatory in nature according to the law without any direct compensation. The study examines the impact of tax avoidance on financial accounting practice, addressing a significant gap in the existing literature. Tax avoidance strategies can affect financial reporting and transparency, which are critical to stakeholders. This study contributes to the understanding for the ethical implications of accounting practices and suggests the need for regulatory reform to improve transparency in financial reporting. Next, for the introduction. In this world, tax avoidance has been a concern for the researchers since long ago. So that many studies related to these issues, such as the impact of financial difficulties and tax avoidance during the financial crisis. For business people, maximizing profits and increasing profits are always the goal to be achieved. This goal is achieved by maximizing income or minimizing costs. In particular, corporate income tax is a burden that companies always try to minimize because it has a direct impact on the company's actual profit. Tax avoidance is a form of tax planning. This tax avoidance is not a criminal act. Tax avoidance is more about tax planning while still complying with tax regulations. This tax planning seeks weak points in regulation that can be exploited by companies. Tax regulation will affect the amount of profit. Thus, the tax avoidance factor is one of the reasons companies carry out profit management. According to research from shows that tax avoidance affects profit management, but researchers and state that tax avoidance doesn't affect profit management. One of the factors that is considered in the practice of profit management is tax. Taxes that do not fluctuate are a concern for tax officers to be examined, especially in practice in Indonesia. If there is any overpayment of tax, it is certain that officers will check the company's taxes. Tax avoidance or tax avoidance is a term often used to describe legal arrangement for taxpayer operations in order to reduce the tax obligation borne by taxpayer. Tax avoidance is an effort to avoid taxes that are made legally and do not violate statutory regulation, because companies view taxes as a burden that reduces company profits. Basically, this tax avoidance practice is the use of loopholes in tax laws so that it doesn't violate the law. It is important to emphasize that the framework for minimizing tax avoidance must include not only the use of methods to legally minimize the tax burden for companies, but also aggressive strategies to exploit loopholes or uncertainties in tax law. In fact, developing countries are generally considered more vulnerable to tax avoidance practice due to the inadequacy of legislative, technological, and administrative resources to capture and control transactions. For the methodology, a qualitative descriptive approach is used to explore the impact of tax avoidance on financial accounting. This study uses a qualitative descriptive research approach to examine the impact of tax avoidance on financial accounting. Data were collected through data that I found on online media platform with facts that are in accordance with the situation. For the results, in a study of tax avoidance risk assessment, a clear definition of tax avoidance essential, Hallon and Heisman, 2010, explained that one of the challenges of empirical studies of tax avoidance is that there is no universally accepted definition or construct for tax avoidance or tax aggressiveness. Debrang, Hanlon, and Maydew, 28, simply 2008 simply defined tax avoidance as an explicit reduction of taxes. However, Hanlon and Heisman 2010 argued that this definition ignores the distinction between general tax advantageous activities and activities that constitute tax planning, which specifically aims to reduce taxes and obtain targeted tax benefits from aggressive lobbying activities. This paper provides the first comprehensive an in-depth literature review of the relationship between corporate governance and corporate tax avoidance. Euro's examination shows that corporate tax avoidance is largely driven by 7 groups of corporate governance aspects. First, alignment of incentives between management and shareholders. Second, board composition. Third, ownership structure. Fourth, capital market pressure. Fifth, audit. Sixth, law enforcement and government relations. And the last one, pressure from other stakeholders such as employees, customers, and the community. Another factor that can also be a factor in carrying out tax avoidance practice is sales growth. According to Kennedy et al. 2013, in Andriani 2019, this sales growth can be an increase to the number of sales from time to time or from year to year. This growth can also help companies to optimize their companies, namely how to utilize existing resources by looking at sales from the previous year. Basically, increasing sales growth will have a positive effect on the company's profit because sales growth will make the company get big profits. And the last one is discussion. Tax avoidance is not a criminal act. It is done to avoid taxes that are made legally and do not violate the rules of law because companies view taxes as a burden that reduces company profits. In addition, the purpose of tax avoidance is to maximize profits and increase profits because this tax avoidance practice is the use of loopholes in tax laws so that it doesn't violate the law. These are my references for this paper. And thank you.